Travis Wayne Goodsoul. I got a link comment for which I do not accept on my channel, especially with the person of whom the video is of. You have to earn my trust and to have me accept your links to things, because you need to make sure that you understand that this is my channel, not somebody else's channel. And by the way, the person, you're supposed to share my videos with others. You're not supposed to share others' videos with me. But nonetheless, I will reply because she's a long-time friend from Nevada. And so I'll do a video based on what she tried to notify me of. And it has to do with priesthood discernment. And as I'm an expert in Mormonism, literally, I did the research, did the study, I even designed my education to be an expert in Mormonism. And so, whether you believe it or not, I am. Mormons don't believe it, ex-Mormons don't believe it, but I am. Born and raised in the church to know that it's not true, because it's not literal. That's where the problem is. And so with discernment, it's primarily for priesthood leadership to have discernment in their callings, specifically their leadership callings. And the belief is that by being a leader, you automatically have a mantle, and that mantle gives you inspiration specific to your calling to discern whether a Mormon is pulling a con on you, or where to put them in the ward or stake to best help the ward or stake. And unfortunately, with no authority, because Brigham Young had no authority, and I've gone over that with you, the church doesn't teach us that there were others who went their own separate way. And we are taught to believe that Brigham Young was the rightful authoritarian, the rightful authority to lead the church because of his position in the church under Joseph. And it's not scripturally backed. It's not historically backed, because the others who left all had their claims according to their positions. Alpheus Cutler, for example, was a member of the High Council. The High Council, not a stake High Council, the High Council. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's because Joseph had a different organization than this Brighamite branch, because Brigham Young designed his administration after him as the president of Joseph's 12 traveling ministers. And so, yeah, to claim that Joseph's church is the same administration that this church is what's called an anachronism, where you impose current practices into the past. And it can cause problems. But if any of you know the series by a Mormon author, 10 Issues Among the Nephites, it's children's literature, that's what it's kind of dealing with. You have Mormons who go back in time into the Lamanite and Nephite days, and they've got tennis shoes, I guess. I never read them, but I'm assuming by the titles that that's what it has to do with. And so, yeah, the fiction is able to get away with this because it's known to be fiction. You're not supposed to take it literally. And so, yes, the Book of Mormon has lots of anachronisms, which critics are not recognizing as anachronisms. They just say, oh, you can't have European animals in the Americas. Oh, you can't have gold coins and such in the Americas. You can't have, such and such. That's, ex-Mormons are not getting this. The Book of Mormon is not literal history, but it's not a fraud. It is true, but it's not literal history. It's prophecy. And so, knowing this, all of the priesthood leaders don't have authority. So there is no gift of discernment for their calling, because they have no authority in their calling. They're just regular men without superpowers, all believing they have superpowers. And so, yes, women, you're correct. They are purposely claiming this to be abusive and deny you equal priesthood office and authority that Joseph Smith gave. Joseph Smith Papers, guys. It's from the church, and they are self-sabotaging themselves if only you would read and study it and compare it with what the church is trying to tell you. Because Bednar, for example, got up, gave the same old thing. First vision, Book of Mormon translation. No. Even the church has changed the narrative of what they told me when I was a kid. And what the reality is from the Joseph Smith Papers is even completely different than what the church is still not getting right. But until you study the Joseph Smith Papers, ex-Mormons and Mormons, you will not know the truth. You will not know that your leaders are lying to you. They know about the Joseph Smith Papers. They've gone over it and reviewed it. They know what's in there. And so do the people who found the things that would have to notify the leaders of and do some kind of alteration to cover up and hope that nobody actually does the reading and studying and comparing. But yeah, it's similar to what the Tanners did. They found an old document, compared it, and went, oh, okay, not the same. And this gave rise to Mormonism, shadow, or reality. And now the church is putting them out there, but nobody is doing what the Tanners have done and done the comparison. But again, you can't use Christianity to bias your comparison. Joseph Smith was not Christian. He was Jewish. So you have to look at it in that lens, not in a Christian lens. Ex-Mormons. And so the video clip that I watched that was sent to me dealt with a Mormon who had been imprisoned for a grievous sex offense. I think it was even child sex offense. And he's on the sex offender registry, and they were concerned why the church was still letting him have callings and participate in ward activities. Well, I tried to do the review of the new released handbook to the public to try to explain this for you, because they weren't doing it. The church doesn't care. It's right there in the handbook of instructions, guys. Incest? A-okay. Child rape? A-okay. Human sacrifice of devil worship? A-okay. Slightly exaggerated, but just slightly. The church does put in there at the beginning, we discourage this, but we aren't going to punish anybody for it. That was what I was trying to get across, and that's what's going on here, that ex-Mormons are not catching on. They don't understand the horror of a child sex offender being put right back into the primary, for example. And these ex-Mormons were wondering, well, membership records need to be designed in such... No, they already are. Because when a member of the church is locked up in jail, locked up in prison, the clerk of the ward that they were in, they're no longer coming to church. So they put on there that they are now residing in the Salt Lake County Jail or whatever jail. And then it gets sent back to Salt Lake City, where my brother's in charge of it. When the scandals that he's caused as a PhD. And the church then has a master record file of every place you've moved throughout your life. They know everything about you. They're stalking you. And so only when you're able to leave and not notify your membership clerk do they send it back to my brother, and then my brother has to seek them out, search and destroy. And so, yeah, my brother has lost millions of members because millions of members have up and left the church, left their ward, moved out, and didn't bother to tell anybody where they're going to, and didn't tell anybody, hey, we've moved into your ward. And so, yes, the Mormon membership is not 16 million by any means. We're talking around 1 to 3 million active. And so the bishop would have on his membership file a little asterisk of being in jail, being in prison on their record, because there are people that are in charge of those who are in jails and those who end up transferring to prisons. So yeah, they keep track of you. So don't be fooled into thinking the church doesn't know and that they're innocent and all we need to fix it and come up with some solution. The church already has it in place to know and identify such persons to make sure, hey, you should have been excommunicated for this, but the church is okay with it, so we're okay with it. So here, right back into the pit of despair, or the bog of eternal stench, whichever movie cliche you want to use. And so it's a horror story for Halloween. But that helps explain it, I hope. That the church does know, and they just don't care, and they have no authority. So spread the word, share my videos. You can even take clips of my videos and do twerking things. I don't care. If it gets people's attention in a good way. See, because with the church, I'll do clips of Nelson and anybody else who catches my attention to do videos for. I'll take clips of what they say. I don't have to rearrange words or anything like that. They give it all to me. They spoon feed it to me. They softball throw it to me, and I run with it. So I don't have to change any of their wording, as Oakes was concerned about with Mormons recording what they say. You know, their full context comments are good enough for my video to criticize them. So, yeah, it's a nightmare. Literally, get out. Warn your neighbor to get out. This is how it works. And they are not good. And as I've warned you, they're preparing to go back to these atrocities. They're going back to sex trafficking, because regular marriage with tithing is now a crime. It's sex trafficking. So they're going to add polygamy with it, and they're going to add child brides with it. all if they win, and they're pushing to win, because they already have sided with Mike Lee. By having Mike Lee do a photo op with the prophets, the church is now siding with him rather than McMullen. And they're not supposed to tamper with elections, but since when does that stop them? So, yeah, we've got some hard times ahead of us, because the federal investigators are not doing their job. They're playing favorites, letting the sex pedophiles go.